Hello there and welcome to Dave's Wrestling Pitches. Now, recently I put up on Twitter asking you guys which WWE superstar you would like me to do a pitch video for, and the answer that you gave me was Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin has been something of an ever-present figure on WWE TV ever since he got his call-up from NXT back in 2016. He won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale in his debut main roster match at WrestleMania 34, won Money in the Bank in 2017, became General Manager of Raw for a period of time back in 2018, retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35, won King of the Ring in 2019, oh and don't forget he's also a former United States Champion. Most other superstars on WWE's roster would kill, and I mean literally kill someone to have a resume that resembles Baron Corbin's. And yet, he's never quite been the big deal that WWE would like us to see him as. And fair play to them, WWE have really tried pretty much everything. They've given him titles and accolades galore, they've given him authority figure status, they've even had him have countless stables that he's been associated with that have done his bidding for him, done his fighting for him, whatever. It just, none of it seems to have worked. Until recently. If you've been paying attention to Smackdown recently, you'll notice that Baron Corbin has lost his King of the Ring crown to Shinsuke Nakamura and gone on a bit of a downward spiral. He's broke, he's begging people for money, he's tried to steal the Money in the Bank briefcase, he's tried to get his name on a contract for World Championship matches, and that's gone on for a couple of weeks until very recently he's had a bit of an upturn in his fortunes and become a bit of a super rich elite. And I'm not exaggerating here, this has been one of my favourite parts of WWE television over the last couple of weeks. No exaggeration, apart from the stuff with the Bloodline and Roman Reigns, this has been my favourite thing. In my opinion, you actually can't do better with Baron Corbin than WWE is doing at the moment. But you are my adoring and slightly strange public, so here we are. This is my pitch video for Baron Corbin. We've recently seen Baron Corbin go from broke Corbin to happy Corbin, and I will continue this thread, have him make more and more money each week and show him backstage flashing the cash to get what he wants, buying his way into little bits of influence or just throwing money at people just to be a bit of a douche. In backstage interviews or little segments online, Baron Corbin can cut scathing promos on the people that have wronged him over the last couple of weeks, the people who turned their backs on him when he was at his lowest point. He informs Shinsuke Nakamura, the man who stole his King of the Ring crown, Big E, the man who wouldn't let him have the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Kevin Owens, the man who selfishly refused to give him $100,000, that their days are numbered. They have a bounty on their heads, and Baron Corbin is prepared to pay very handsomely any person who decides to collect on that bounty. Over the next 3 weeks, segments are shown on Smackdown that show the 3 named men on Baron Corbin's hit list found beaten down backstage. Shinsuke Nakamura is found unconscious near catering. Big E is found beaten senseless with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Kevin Owens is found trapped under a load of scaffolding. Week on week on week, these 3 guys are shown to be taken out of the picture, put on the injured list. And of course, each time Baron Corbin finds out, gets on the phone to his broker, says, order me a case of 20-year scotch, get me a big old bottle of champagne, we're going to celebrate with style, I've got the cash to do it, let's get celebrating. On the episode of Smackdown before Crown Jewel, because it's happening, so let's just get on board with it, he comes to the ring and cuts a promo saying that he is untouchable. They say money can't buy you happiness. They are very, very much mistaken. Money can definitely buy you happiness. And do you know what else it can buy you? Protection. There is no individual man or woman in that locker room who can afford to lay a finger on me. Cue Cesaro's music. The Swiss suit man comes to the ring and says he's not afraid to challenge anyone. You'll see Corbin at Crown Jewel. During the match itself, Cesaro is beating Corbin left, right and centre, wiping him all over the ring mat when 2 men in hoodies run down to the ring. One of the men distracts the referee while the second one hits Cesaro with a foreign object, I don't know, a steel chair or a kendo stick or something, but basically something that injures him, takes him out of the equation. Baron Corbin is then able to roll over, get the pinfall, 1, 2, 3. Next week on Smackdown, Baron Corbin struts his way down to the ring, cocky, arrogant as ever, and introduces the 2 men that helped him at Crown Jewel. He introduces them to us as his entourage, Duke Hudson and Shane Thorne. He reveals them as the men who put Nakamura, Kevin Owens and Big E on the injured list and says that he's taking them under his wing. With their wrestling skill and his brains, talent, charisma, good looks and wrestling skill, the 3 men are going to go straight to the top of WWE. Hudson and Thorne thank Corbin for the opportunity and thank him for bringing them onto Smackdown, but they still haven't actually been paid yet. Before anything else can be said, the Street Profits arrive. They stand on the entrance ramp and they introduce themselves to the entourage and say, "Welcome to Smackdown. We would like to be your first pay-per-view opponent next month at Survivor Series." Baron Corbin turns to the entourage, points to the Street Profits and says, "If you injure these men, I will double the money that I owe you." The entourage considers this for a moment. Before shaking hands, the deal is accepted. In the build of the Survivor Series, we can let the audience become more and more acquainted with Duke Hudson and Shane Thorne by having them squash enhancement talent and airing vignettes that play up the duo's history. Show them in their early days back in the Mighty Don't Kneel back in Australia and have that play out in front of us. Let us know that this isn't some random pairing. These pair know each other. They've worked together for years. They will actually be a very, very effective tag team. And not only that, but they're hungry and they're going to get very, very, very well paid for doing the thing that they're very, very, very good at doing, hurting people. At Survivor Series, no bells and whistles, no nonsense. The entourage batter the Street Profits. Now, I actually really like the Street Profits and I wouldn't normally want to put them in this situation, but they're going to bounce back regardless. There's enough talent there that they're going to be protected either way. But having the entourage beat them absolutely stone cold clean makes a statement straight off the bat. Backstage, the pair approach Corbin and again ask for their money. Corbin takes them to one side and says, "Look, I've just got off the phone with my broker. My stock values have just skyrocketed. If you help me win the Intercontinental Championship, you can take whatever I'm offering you now and triple it." Now, this is a very interesting offer, I think you'd agree, so the entourage don't really waste much time in considering it. Shake hands, deal's done. On Smackdown, Baron Corbin calls out Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura and says that you're on the injured list, you should really be forfeiting this title, and as I'm the person kind of responsible for putting you on that injured list, I should be the one wearing the belt. Shinsuke Nakamura arrives and says, "I'm not medically cleared to compete right now, but I will be at TLC. I will see you and your two boys at the show." So we have our pay-per-view match and it's time to build up Baron Corbin for a bit. So we'll give him 4 straight weeks of wins against enhancement talent or lower level guys, but with the help from the entourage. We want Corbin to be shown as a threat, but when he's got help from his boys. At TLC, it's Nakamura versus Corbin, and of course there's an absolutely ungodly level of interference coming from the entourage. Nakamura is facing off people from all 3 sides and is in danger of being overwhelmed when the cavalry arrives in the form of Big E and Kevin Owens. The two of them manage to keep Duke Hudson and Shane Thorne away, which gives Shinsuke Nakamura enough time to hit the Kinshasa and pick up the win and retain his championship. The next week on Smackdown, Baron Corbin is absolutely furious. He cannot believe that Shinsuke Nakamura had people run in and cost him his match for the Intercontinental Championship, and he wants revenge. He lays down the challenge: Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens and Big E versus himself, Shane Thorne and Duke Hudson at WWE's New Year's Day pay-per-view event, because let's be honest, this show is going to be the most house show of house shows, so let's have a big multi-man match just for a bit of fun. The entourage, on the other hand, are now starting to get really, really fed up of waiting for their money. This has been going on for a while at this point. Corbin again fobs them off, saying that he's preoccupied with the match ahead and says, "Look, take these guys out of the picture, remove them from the equation, and I'll give you an even bigger bonus than I was going to anyway." And this sets up lots of backstage attacks each week between all 3 guys, trying to remove each other from the equation, trying to get revenge on each other from last week's attacks. Just all things that we can put in between the segments and matches on each episode of Smackdown, just to break up the feel of a 2-hour show. During the match itself, the babyface side are putting on a very, very good fight and showing plenty of fire, but they're not the team that the entourage are. They don't have that experience of years and years and years of tagging together, and that's showing. The entourage are cleaning house. However, before the match can reach its conclusion, the Titantron flicks into life. We see CCTV footage from backstage of Baron Corbin on the phone. He's talking to his broker, desperately begging for a loan, another loan. He's got a lot of debt and he's promised a lot of money to people that he now can't pay. He lost all his money a week after making it and he's been bluffing it ever since. The footage stops and we cut to a security room with who else inside but Cesaro. big smile on his wonderfully handsome face, revenge for that assault all those weeks ago. The entourage, realising that they've been played for fools, turn on Corbin. Now, they don't actually have to attack him, but they just leave the ring. This leaves Corbin to face the three guys that he's been trying to take out of the picture over the last couple of weeks. Finisher after finisher after finisher, give Big E the win so that he stays strong while holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. Happy New Year. After that, the entourage can abandon Corbin and go into the tag team division on Smackdown as an established threat that we've seen work well together and have a clear aim. They can also change the name from the entourage to something a lot cooler, maybe even go back to the Mighty Don't Kneel. What they don't do is change the name to Slapjack and Slapjack 2, the Slapjackening. Sad face emoji sigh. Meanwhile, Corbin can be quietly drafted over to Raw on a big money contract, which quietly ends the poor Corbin storyline. Now again, this has been one of my favourite things on WWE TV over the last couple of weeks, but it needs to end sometime, and this is a nice natural resolve. We know that wrestlers are paid, we know that wrestlers have contracts, so this feels like a natural way to resolve that particular storyline. And talking of resolving storylines, that's my pitch. Did you enjoy it? No? Fair enough. Tell me why in the comment section down below. I will personally respond to every single comment that I receive, and if that doesn't motivate you to get talking to me, then literally nothing's gonna. Maybe free money. I don't have free money. Come on, find me on Twitter, the link will be in the description down below, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. This was my pitch for Baron Corbin. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you all again soon.